Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome back to another episode of Meant to Bloom. I'm your host, Brittany Clarkson. I'm so happy to have you here today. Um, anyways, this is right away, drawing a blank. I want to talk to you about community and motherhood. This was something that, like, honestly, I am an introvert. Okay, in high school, when I found out I was an introvert, um, when I was first starting to struggle with depression and anxiety, these feelings of not being enough for other people. Discovered I was an introvert via the Myers-Briggs testing, and I misunderstood it. And I really thought that being an introvert meant I'm better off alone and that I don't need people. And, not needing help from others was something I inherited from my dad. He will do everything on his own. He will not ask for help. He does not want to be an inconvenience to other people in that way. Um, Same, right? Maybe we all experience that from time to time. Um, but I really let all of those things just equate to I don't need friends, I don't need people, I don't, I will do it all alone. I will isolate. And if there's one thing we learned from the epic year of 2020, isolation is not good for us. Isolation benefits nobody, right? We need community, we need bonding, we need friendships, we need people in our lives. And as moms, we were always told like it takes a village to raise a child. Um, and I always see like moms always out here asking, like, where the heck is my village they promised me? And honestly, it's like that that has shifted. Needing a village has shifted. What we see as a village. Because way back in the day, the woman in charge of the home, you had to do a lot of things from scratch by hand. You couldn't go down to the Walmart or the Target and get, everything you needed for something. You had to actually grow a lot of the food you were going to eat. Or it was a lot more inconvenient to trade and purchase things to get to someone else's house. You didn't have a car to ride. You had to ride a donkey or a horse or, walk the Oregon Trail. So, yeah, it took a village. It took a lot more community to actually raise that child. It took more community just to exist, Being in isolation meant you have to do everything on your own, from scratch, by hand. No washing machines, no dishwashers, and in a lot of ways, convenience and appliances have replaced that village. We don't really need a lot of hands on to raise a child anymore and to run a home because you can do so much of it yourself. But what we need is that emotional support and encouragement from other people still. What we need is other viewpoints that tell us when we're being neurotic and a little bit crazy. We need things like these podcasts where someone can be talking in your ear, reframing the way you're thinking about something. Because when you're on your own in your head, sometimes these sort of thoughts will start to play out. And it starts to make you feel not so great. It starts to make you act a little bit funny. Um, and there's so many times where I have to bounce an idea off my husband just so that I can hear what it sounds like and then see that look of confusion on his face. Like, what are you talking about? Things to do with my self worth. Telling him that I feel worthless because I, didn't change the cat litter box today. And he'll be like, okay, so do it tomorrow. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up about this thing. And I'll be like, oh, I've been in my head all day beating myself up about it. So now what? This is why we need community. This is why we need other voices in our lives because sometimes the voice we are speaking to ourselves in is not a good one. It's not positive. It's not helpful. Sometimes we're trying to do too many things that we don't need to be doing. Sometimes we don't realize we're living life with a handicap. We are, you know, we're just not at the same level as other people. And we'll sit here and compare ourselves because you're looking at people from the outside, social media, TV, magazines, whatever. Just watching your neighbor from across the street who you see for 30 seconds a day, taking your kids in the house. the voices in our head can start to create a story around a small piece of something we saw, sort of like trying to fill in the gaps of a trailer when you've only seen a tiny bit of it. It doesn't tell you the whole thing, right? That's just the highlights. It is the highlight reel. Um, you can't know everything from 30 seconds of content or data, but your mind's going to try to fill in the story. And sometimes that story is there to make you feel bad. I don't know exactly why our brain does it. It's trying to keep us safe in some way, but doesn't feel like that. Um, so sometimes we just need these other voices in our lives to tell us actually everyone else isn't having it easy. Um, I'll never forget like when I realized I have that I'm a special needs mom. I've always known that my oldest kid was having trouble with sensory issues, having trouble with anxiety, and we were trying to solve everything. He's in play therapy, and eventually we got the diagnosis of autism, which, makes so much sense. Makes so much sense. It makes life so much easier to know where it's all coming from and how it's all connected. Um, but then he'd been autistic for he's been autistic forever, but we've had that diagnosis for a while when I realized, wait a second, my kid has special needs. I'm a special needs mom. No wonder these different areas have felt so hard. No wonder I've been so exhausted every time I think about taking him to school. No wonder that wasn't working. Um, because I was living with a handicap of having a special needs child. So yeah, I had to let go of some other areas and realize that mindset shift of, oh, this wasn't supposed to be the easy part of life for me. This area, raising this kid is supposed to take a little bit more time and compassion and patience and love, right? So sometimes just talking to other people, you realize, oh, this is not a normal behavior. This is not a normal thing. This is not the level of which, you know, this isn't easy mode. I'm not living life in easy mode over here. Because I thought I was really struggling on easy mode. And it wasn't easy mode. It was intermediate. Anyways, um, so in so many senses, we need that community. We need those conversations with other moms. We really do. I mean, bonus points if you can just meet moms at the park or at the grocery store and strike up, lifelong friendships and bonds with local nearby moms that you guys can meet with kids the same age and you guys can grow up together. That's so fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, but that doesn't happen for everyone all the time. And being moms, it's not like you can have one friend who is your go-to all of the time because we're all kind of busy. So it's like you kind of need to have a collection. You really do. To toss different ideas off of. And just having one mom friend is only one more perspective, right? If my one mom friend doesn't have an autistic child, there's no bouncing ideas off of her of questioning like, hey, what kind of shoes does your kid wear? Because mine doesn't want to keep any shoes on. I see that yours is wearing shoes. What shoes are those and where can I get them? For the record, if your kid will not keep shoes on because they're all uncomfortable and they're having sensory issues with it, barefoot shoes. Amazon has some great dupes. I think mine were like 23 bucks for my kid, but they're like wide at the toes, so it's not pinching in. He finally wears shoes between those and rubber boots or like slide sandals. Just if anyone else is out there struggling with the shoe thing, something we tend to overlook and think like it should be easy to get shoes on my kid, and sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes you're not on easy mode for getting kids in shoes, and that's okay. But you have to realize this isn't easy mode. No wonder it's hard. No wonder you're struggling with that. It's tough. It's a challenge, but you can rise to the challenge. You can overcome it. You can do so many great, beautiful things if you're not beating yourself up over the things you can't do, the things that you are having a hard time with. Guilt never made anything easier. Guilt never got you there, right? Like, guilt won't solve your problem. Drop it. Let it go. It's heavy. Quit carrying it. Um, But that being said, I have created a community and it's free for everyone listening. Okay? The Bloom Room, I see it as being this just wonderful experience where all of you mamas can just come in together. We can talk about what we're talking about on the podcast. You can talk about what you want me to talk about on the podcast. You can talk about the things I forgot to mention on the podcast. You can talk to each other. You can ask questions and say, hey, is any other mom dealing with this specific thing that I'm dealing with? Because I need some guidance, some help, and Pinterest just isn't helping. And, sometimes it can be hard to find the information you want out there, and it's just great to ask other moms. And you can share memes, you can share your selfies, share your favorite coffee, share the super easy dinner that you're making. Um, like let's bond, let's have friendships, and I can pair this to like having a sleepover or a kickback party. Um, it's like social media, but it's like the kickback party of it, because the way you can communicate with each other is the same as you can communicate with people on social media, but it's not this huge, overwhelming collection of people with a bunch of trolls and meanie heads. And, that feels to me, I like to equate it as like a Gatsby party where it's like the owner's not even there. Cause I mean, if you watch that movie at the beginning, it starts out at Gatsby party and everyone's like, I've never even seen the guy. Like, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, like Zuckerberg's not even around. It's not like MySpace where we were all friends with Tom. um, but a Gatsby party, there's a lot going on. You don't know everybody. If you're trying to yell against the noise and nobody can hear you, this is a small, intimate get together, right? And I hope it grows a little bit bigger, but it'll never get it'll never get that big. It's always going to be something where you can actually get to know each other and you can actually find each other and see each other. And I'm so excited. So excited for this to be coming to life. There's already over a dozen people in there, and we're chatting and having conversations about our favorite books and what books we're reading to our kids. And I'm thinking about doing a monthly planning party, like in the free side of things. Sort of like a mom co-work hour where we can all do our monthly plans and our reflection questions and journal prompts. Like I'll share with you. Um, we can bounce ideas off each other, get that community, get that, be the village, right? Like you can't have a village to help you raise your kids if you're not willing to go out of your house and be part of the village, right? And this is such a great way that you can have that village in your phone, in your laptop, and we can just chat and have conversations. um, and of course, inside the Bloom Room there is that option to upgrade to the paid group growth coaching membership. In there we're going to be covering everything in the happy mom brain pretty soon, and when you get into that group growth coaching, uh, I always forget to mention, like, there's already a collection of resources in there. All of my paid products that used to be on Etsy, almost all of them. A couple of them I didn't include, but basically all of the really good stuff, is in there. The Unstressed Holiday Planner, the Happy Mom Brain digital download, um, the Mindset Realign workbook, all of that is in the paid side, the group growth coaching, which if you join before May 14th is only $9 for like the founder's early entry price. After that, it goes up to 22, which is still super, super low for growth coaching, super low for a membership like this. And we'll be teaching classes on different things, going really in depth, guided by your needs. And I'm so excited to be able to provide this service. Um, yeah, but there's the free side in the Bloom Room. You can go in, have some chats, get to know each other, talk about the podcast. I'll host my free challenges in there instead of on Facebook and Instagram and all of that. Um, and I'm just so excited to have this opportunity to get to know you. And I really hope, like, as I extend this invitation for you to join a free membership, that you would take it, please, because I really want to know you better. It helps me continue this podcast better if I know your needs better, right? Okay, friend, I love you so much. And if you don't have a clickable link in your description on the platform you're watching, if you go to brittanyclarkson.com/community, it's going to give you all the info in the Bloom Room, links to join the free side, the paid side. even to enroll in the Happy Mom Method courses, which are being totally re-recorded with another course added in. That's going to flow so much better, be more cohesive. Um, and I'm really excited to do that later this year. Um, Anyways, friend, I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being here.